Some of the most responsible people I know feel the most stressed about money. They pay their bills, they budget, they make careful decisions, and yet they still feel like everything could fall apart. If that's you, it doesn't mean you're bad with money. Most of the time, it just means you don't have a system. I have used the same money system for almost 20 years. It helped us pay off $116,000 worth of student loan debt, pay for an adoption, pay for my husband's second master's degree, and survive a season where we owned 2 homes. But for a long time, my life still didn't feel stable. The exact spreadsheet that I have used for years is available for you in the link in the description. Click the link to get started today. Responsible people try and track their money, but they do it in a variety of scattered ways. Checking accounts, post-it notes from their memory, credit cards, rough budgets. You can track your money, but unless you're tracking it in real life, you aren't going to see the whole picture, and money will always feel uncertain. Financial stress usually doesn't come from spending too much. It comes from not knowing exactly what's happening. If you are only tracking your money in a perfect month, or only tracking certain expenses or estimating expenses without actually tracking the dollars, your budget isn't living in your reality. My spreadsheet tracks every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out in the actual real month in reality. It helps plan for the future. Not just the retirement 30 years in the future, but the 6 weeks in the future when your tire explodes on the highway. The imaginary perfect month doesn't account for predictable expenses like car repairs, rising grocery costs, or back to school supplies. And it definitely doesn't take into account real emergencies that you can't predict, like medical emergencies, income reductions, or surprise expenses. If you're looking for something different, a budget that actually accounts for your real life in reality, click the link in the description for this simple budget spreadsheet that I've used for almost 20 years. A lot of what we call financial emergencies are actually predictable. When I was in 7th grade, my math teacher had a sign on the wall that said, "Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part." I think about that quote a lot when it comes to financial emergencies. Most car repairs can be expected. Cars wear out, tires wear out, brakes wear out. Medical bills happen, kids grow, and every August, it comes to back to school and you need to buy school supplies, lunch boxes, clothes, and shoes. These things are not surprises. They're part of life. But when we don't plan for them, they start to feel like emergencies. And that's where a lot of financial stress comes from. Of course, there are real financial emergencies, a major medical event, a truly unexpected repair. Those things absolutely happen, but not planning for new tires does not make a flat tire an emergency. It just means that timing caught us off guard. And here's the good news. When you start planning for these things, they stop feeling like disasters. They become part of the rhythm of your life. This is one of the reasons why the spreadsheet has been so helpful. Instead of pretending like future expenses don't exist, it pulls them into the present. It forces you to acknowledge the real life that you're living, the one where cars need tires and kids need shoes. Your money stops floating around in theory and it becomes grounded in reality. And when that happens, you're not consistently surprised by your own life. You're prepared for it. And even when something unexpected does happen, it's far less stressful because you already have the system for dealing with reality. And that's why responsible people still feel broke, because reality keeps interrupting the budget that they've planned. One of the biggest sources of financial stress is constant decision making. Can we afford this? Should we spend that? What if something else happens? When you're making these decisions over and over all day long, it's exhausting. And honestly, that's part of why responsible people still feel broke. Because even when they're doing everything right, they're constantly second guessing every decision. I remember when my husband and I were newly married, broke and trying to get out of debt. We really limited our restaurant spending. When we went on road trips, we packed sandwiches. And I used to embarrass my husband by bringing peanut butter and jelly into the movie theater when we would go on cheap movie dates. Because I was not about to spend $75 on popcorn and a Diet Coke. But somewhere along the line, I realized something important. I didn't actually want to eliminate spending. I just wanted to eliminate spending on things that didn't align with our values. Good food, a really good meal with people that we love. That felt worth it to me. That felt aligns with our priorities. Fast food that we didn't even really enjoy, that felt like a waste. So I made the decision once. Good food experiences are worth spending money on, and fast food usually isn't. And once I made that decision, I didn't have to debate it every time. That's the power of a system. Systems reduce decisions. A good system replaces constant decisions with clear information. Instead of asking, can we afford this every time something comes up? You already know because your money is organized around the life you're trying to build. This system helped us pay off $116,000 worth of student loan debt, pay cash for my husband's second master's degree, survive a season where we owned 2 homes at the same time, and so many other things. Our life hasn't been perfect. We haven't made a lot of money. And we've had real challenges and real financial emergencies. There was the season where we climbed ourselves out of debt. When we moved and we couldn't sell our home, we were stretched incredibly thin, cutting as many expenses as we possibly could just to tread water financially. But we made it through. We weren't overcome by those financial challenges, not because we were lucky. Not because we made huge amounts of money, but because we had a system that gave us clarity. The system didn't make us rich. It helped us see our reality more clearly, and that changed everything. In fact, after we paid off $116,000 in debt, my husband immediately went back to graduate school. And while he was in school, we were also preparing for adoption and growing our family. None of that happened because things were easy. It happened because we had already built a system that helped us make decisions in our lives. It helped us survive them. Clarity doesn't remove hard seasons. It helps you survive them. If this conversation about money resonated with you, then the next video I'd recommend you watching is why budgeting alone won't solve your money problems. You can watch it right here. And if you want more conversations about building a stable life and making money decisions that create options, you can subscribe to my channel right here.